Hi, I am Professor Amitav Banerjee. I had been a field epidemiologist in the Indian Armed Forces for more than 2 decades. And in the armed forces, our troops are exposed to number of hazards uh, from insects, from rodents. So I'll be talking about the Hantavirus scare, which we had recently, and now also people are apprehensive because there were, as you must have been following, there was a outbreak of hantavirus on a cruise ship, and the cruise was moving around uh, from Argentina and around that sea. It was a Dutch cruise, and it started. It was, I think, exploration. It was a small cruise with about 150, 200 passengers on board. And there was a first case occurred in 11th April. 11th April, there was a death on board, an elderly man, about 70 years old. And he was with his wife, and they had gone because this cruise goes down to different places and for exploration. So they had gone to a island in Argentina, not exactly island, in a small village in Argentina, the southernmost part of Argentina, a village to see some exotic birds. And there are a lot of, it is believed that they had got the virus which are found in small rodents. The excrements of rodents, the urine, the stools, um, rat droppings, saliva, they get dried up in garbage. And if there is a wind or there is a dusting, so it can generate aerosols which can be inhaled. So it is believed that this gentleman and his wife, they had gone there, they came back. That was on 1st April. They had stopped at Argentina, and that place is known to be endemic. Argentina, they have been earlier also. I think 2018-19, there had been an outbreak of hantavirus there. And got infected, and he died on 11th April. That was the first death. And then the cruise diverted towards St. Helena to disembark the body, and his wife also accompanied, and she also got down, and she was on 24th April, and she was being going back to her native place, I think, and en route she got sick. So she was admitted in South Africa, and she died there. 27th of April, the wife also died. And in South Africa, because of better facilities in the hospital, they could identify the cause as hantavirus. After that, the panic started. And then another passenger got sick, and there was another death. One more passenger got sick, and and he was also admitted at South Africa, and he has survived. He's in critical on 27th April, and another death occurred on 2nd May from that cruise ship. A German passenger, he contacted and he died. So there was a lot of panic. There was a lot of fear because hantavirus is transmitted, not easily transmitted, but it has got a high mortality. They say it is mortality is about 40%. So that's quite frightening, 50%. And naturally, most viral diseases, there are no treatment. They're only supportive treatment. And this is caused by they identified, they have got many different strains of hantavirus. The hantaviruses, they come under a family of Bunioviridae, and then genus is Hanta, and below that there are different species. And hantaviruses are found all over the world, global distribution, and it is one of the most common zoonoses, they say, from animal to man. And mostly the rodents, mice, field mice, rats, deer mice, they droppings, they get infected and they don't get affected much. The virus keeps multiplying in them. It's a reservoir. And the rat droppings, that is the infective material. And it it is not transmitted from person to person, except for, they say, the Andes strain, which was the strain which, that's why there was more panic, that will it transmit in a closed space from person to person. Luckily, even the Andes strain does not transmit easily from person to person. It doesn't spread like COVID or aerosol or anything. So it's very intimate contact, like the husband, wife, or they must have been very close. The third person, we don't know. Probably he also might have gone to the island. We don't know. But they don't transmit to each other unless there is exchange of body fluids or there is very intimate contact. So that way, there have been 8 more people who have fallen sick out of 149. And in between the cruise, some people have been going back to the native country. So many people have moved around. And the cruise, there was a problem. Cape Verde did not allow them to dock because there was panic fear. Then on, I think yesterday, 10th May or 11th May, yesterday, I think got they disembarked at Canary Island in Spain. There also there was a lot of resistance by the locals, I think. Then the WHO director also approached them. He came, reassured them. And I think all passengers have been back to their native places and they will be under observation. The only other issue in this is it has got a very long incubation period. Like a person may contact the disease, he may fall sick within a week, within 2 weeks, within 3 weeks, within 8 weeks, up to 2 months or 40, 45 days. Almost 8 weeks is the observation period. But most of them they do not transmit. Asymptomatic, if they are asymptomatic, they will not pass it on to others. So they don't require very strict, but of course, basic precautions like they should not have any intimate contact, like sexual relations or body fluid exchange, so sharing of towels and other that. So I think if they observe that, and they can be under observation, under surveillance. So I think we do not fear about this. And much of this is a panic because of we are on tenterhooks because of the past pandemic. And hantavirus is present all over the world. In our country also, in South India, there have been some surveys in 2005. They found about 14.7% of people with fever, reporting with fever. I think Vellore Medical College, 14.7% were positive for IgM antibodies against hantavirus. Then blood donors, they found 5% blood donors are carrying antibodies. That means asymptomatic infections are occurring. 4% in the general population they found. American figures are there, general population, some surveys about 2 to 3% are having the hantavirus antibodies. So that means there is subclinical infection. And if we do a proper research, probably the infection fatality rate may fall down, because those 40%, 50% mortality is those who get serious disease, and they are the hospital cases. So most of the mortality rate in the literature is from hospitals. So maybe. And of course, the Andes virus is a little serious because they cause both the viruses, if person falls sick, is serious. That causes cardiorespiratory pulmonary problems. Whereas the other, in our country, like hantavirus infection, they cause the hemorrhagic and renal failure, kidney failure. So these are of course, these are very nasty diseases, but the good part is they do not have pandemic potential. They do not have pandemic until unless there is some experiments in the lab of gain of function, which is unfortunately, sometimes it goes on, sometimes we require some treaty on that. And there is a vaccine in the pipeline, mRNA vaccine. So again, it has become a common platform. So we have to just see who all require. It's not a new virus. Another thing, it's not new virus. It has been in the Korean War. It was identified 1959. So there is a vaccine in Korea. They have got a vaccine, which is not a mRNA vaccine, conventional vaccine. And in our country, I think it was identified in 1970s. So it's a pretty old virus. So it's not a very novel virus, and it doesn't transmit very fast. It doesn't transmit at all, in fact, if you are taking basic precautions. So I think we do not fear for this Hanta virus also. It is with us. We have to be careful. And what is called for is proper hygiene and sanitation. Garbage disposal, waste disposal. Do not attract the mice, particularly in our storehouses. So much of grain is eaten away by mice every year. So they can put the rat droppings, and they can, people sweeping the floors. In your garage, you may find rat droppings, and if you generate the dry dust, which gets up in aerosol, this is dangerous. One has to be careful, particularly when cleaning very old houses, old godowns, old storerooms. So you have to be careful. And even they say Gene Hackman's last year, a couple of years back, the couple was found dead and wife had died of hantavirus because they were in an old, secluded, big mansion somewhere. So they were found dead after they had died for some time, and they were discovered dead. The cause of death of the wife was hantavirus. So it can be anywhere. It happened to be on the ship. It caught the attention, but certainly it doesn't have a pandemic potential. So that's all on the hantavirus. Thank you.